Good snowy Wednesday morning, News 10 viewers. My name is Krystle Holleman. I'm a digital reporter at News 10. I'm here with First Alert Meteorologist Colton Cichoracki. I feel like we just did this.
We did.
We just did this. But what is going on today? What are people waking up to this morning?
Yeah, we saw that rain change over to snow early this morning, and boy, it's been snowing ever since, and it's really coming down across mid-Michigan, so expect that to continue all day long. I mean literally all day long. It is going to snow from start to finish today, so really don't expect too many roads to get that much better. Road crews are going to be working the best they can throughout the day today, but we are going to be tracking that snowfall as we go throughout the rest of our Wednesday. So that's why we have First Alert weather days out there for both today and even into Thursday, at least tomorrow morning. We'll be tracking some roads that will likely still be a little bit slippery, and we'll be tracking the potential of seeing some blowing and drifting snow as we head throughout the day on Thursday. So that's why we're giving you that first alert that even tomorrow morning's commute will likely be a little bit slow go, especially out in some of the rural roads as we head into our Thursday morning. But this is a current look at the alerts issued by the National Weather Service yesterday. We saw the winter storm warning added to Clinton County. It remains in place all across mid-Michigan areas to the north, Saginaw, Grand Rapids, off towards the north under that winter weather advisory. The difference being a little bit less snow as you get further to the north and heavier snowfall expected in the warning area, so that stretches all the way to the Metro Detroit area as well. So visibility right now, this is a really good indication of where that snow is coming down right now. You can see visibility below a half mile right now in Lansing. We are seeing visibility widespread around mid-Michigan below a mile, so that's why we are seeing just a bad day to travel outside across mid-Michigan. This morning I drove from Lansing to Jackson and Jackson to Lansing, and certainly slow going out on US 127. And do want to show you what radar looks like at this point. And pay attention to where you're seeing some of those darker colors, the darker blues showing up on pinpoint Doppler radar. That's indicating where some of the heavier snow is falling currently, and you can see a lot of that is moving right through the Lansing metro. We have snow stretching all the way from Clare down to the state line, including Jackson, as well as towards the Thumb, into Flint, Metro Detroit as well. So travel plans anywhere across the lower peninsula are going to be impacted from this, but certainly we're seeing that moderate snowfall come down in many communities. I wanted to zoom in on the Lansing metro area specifically. You can see towards DeWitt, Charlotte, as well as back towards the east, and Mason still tracking that snow, and it's just going to come down almost all day long. So what you see outside, if you're looking out the window, is what you're going to see for the majority of our Wednesday here. So let's show you exactly how it's going to look hour by hour. Again, brand new model data here. As we go into the next couple of hours, we'll pause this right around 3 o'clock, and you can still see that snow making its way through mid-Michigan. You'll see it vary in intensity every now and then, lighter, and then become a little bit more moderate and even heavy at times throughout the day today. Temperatures will be falling as well, so look at by 3 o'clock, we're down into the 20s. We started the day up into the 30s and 40s. In fact, yesterday, official high in Lansing was 50. Certainly not the case today as we're tracking that widespread snow. So again, bottom line here is if you don't have to travel today, I would recommend not doing so. Just stay inside. It's a pretty snow, I will say that. You'll notice that it's sticking to the trees and things like that, so it looks cool outside, but certainly dangerous conditions out there. You can see by 9:30, we're still tracking the snow moving through mid-Michigan. It won't be until tonight that we'll see it finally begin to wrap up and taper off here across mid-Michigan. And into tomorrow, what we'll have to watch for is the possibility. We're talking about the second part of this system. This one does appear to go mostly to the south of us, but we may see some light snow showers, especially as it gets southeast of Jackson heading into the day tomorrow. And we'll also be talking about that blowing and drifting snow into tomorrow morning as well. So that's probably going to bring us the most impact. But then by the afternoon hours of Thursday, the system finally pulls out of here, and we'll begin that process of drying out. And the good news is really after today, there's not a whole lot going on across mid-Michigan. I did update our snowfall map a little bit, calling for a general 8 to 12 inches of snow for areas along I-94, including the city of Jackson. And then as you get towards the Lansing metro area, around 6 to 10 inches of snow expected. And the further north that you go, expect those snowfall totals to drop off. It's still possible that some areas, especially as you get towards the state line, pick up just slightly over 1 foot of snow. So this is a lot of snow, certainly the heaviest snow that we've seen so far this season. So again, our forecast remains on track here. This is what we've been calling for the past couple of days, and this appears to be what's going to shape up across mid-Michigan with that 6 to 10 in Lansing and 8 to 12 inches, possibly more, down to the south into the Jackson area as we go throughout the rest of this event. But yes, I know everyone likes to talk about the snowfall totals,
Yes.
which is important, don't get me wrong, but again, the impacts continue to be what is most important, and we are going to see those snow-covered roadways throughout the day. Travel is just going to be difficult to do so just stay home if you can. That blowing snow is a concern, and watch out for some of those icy roads, especially on some of those back roads, like the dirt roads and stuff like that. After we saw that rain, if you've lived on a dirt road for a long time, I lived on a dirt road for a long time, you know that rain falling onto those dirt roads can freeze. So watch out for some icy spots mixed in on top of all of this. So again, this is going to be a long duration event. We're in this through the rest of the day today, and then even into Thursday morning, we'll still see some slippery roads out there across mid-Michigan. It's good that we've seen a ton of school closings out there throughout the day today, which is good. Less people out on the roadways, but certainly we're going to continue to track this snowfall. So again, the general theme here, it's going to snow all day.
All day.
And it's
Thanks
good.
for that.
Yes, and it's forecast still looks good. General 6 to 10 for Lansing, and around 8 to 12 as you get to the south near Jackson.
Are you coming
So
in here?
it took you 10 minutes to say it's going to snow all day.
It took.
No, he said that from the get. He said
Okay,
that from the
I just
very
wanted to
beginning.
check.
No, he
People
didn't.
just clicked up. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I just wasn't paying attention.
Well,
Doing a great job.
Oh.
Now get out of here.
thanks, Darren.
Yeah.
We do have some comments coming in on
Yeah.
Facebook. Krista says it is heavy, wet snow in Jackson, which is
Yeah.
what you just said.
Which, that's a good point. I'm glad that she brought that up, because what we're going to see is colder air continue to move in. So while it is a heavy, wet snow now, that will likely become a little bit less heavy and wet as
Okay.
we go through time, as that cold air continues to move in. So that's a really good point. I'm glad that you pointed that out. But we should see it become a little bit less wet.
Okay, good. Now, of course, Tony mentioned it is beautiful. It does look very beautiful out there.
It does.
The trees look amazing. Denise, I hope we answered your question with the totals in Jackson not too long ago with the updated totals. So hopefully,
Yes,
you
it still
got
looks
that.
like areas towards Jackson will see slightly higher snowfall totals. That's why we still have it in that 8 to 12 inch category. Winter storm warnings remain in effect until through tomorrow, really. So we'll continue to watch this. Yeah, but if you have any other questions, please make sure that you ask. But yeah,
We have a couple comments, of course, being nice to the delivery people today.
yes.
Who are out there. And USPS did ask that you make sure you shovel your drive or your sidewalks and your walkways so that they can safely deliver your mail. Always be careful of that. They're working very hard to make sure that they're in these conditions to deliver you your stuff. So be aware of that. And yes, with the wet, heavy snow, that's really always the question. Is it going to be nice and fluffy? Is it going to be heavy, wet? Is it good for snowball fights and everything with all these kids being off of school?
Probably now, but later on, like I said, we'll see it kind of dry out a little bit. It won't be as quite as wet, but that's also going to be why we're tracking that chance for that blowing and drifting snow. Once we start to get some of that colder air in here, that's really when that's going to be an issue. I don't want you to think that's going to be a huge issue. The winds are not going to be terribly strong throughout this, but as they come in from the north, those east to west roads are really going to be the most impacted, especially out in some rural areas where you have those fields and the snow can just blow right across those roads. That's what we're going to see. And can you tell that I'm from a rural area, because I keep talking about dirt roads and, and stuff like that.
And speaking of Flint, we both have some Flint connections. People are asking, what about the Flint area? How
Yes.
are they seeing it? Because some people do commute.
Yeah, and our snowfall map doesn't include other areas outside of the News 10 viewing area, but as you do get closer to the I-69 corridor towards Flint, Lapeer, Port Huron, and into Metro Detroit, they can expect that general 8 to 12 inch, or 6 to 10 to 8 to 12 over that way as well. And that same thing can be south of Grand Rapids towards Kalamazoo and down that way, seeing similar things there too.
Katrina wants to know, will Hillsdale be getting around a foot?
Yes,
Southern part of our viewing area.
the further south that you go, expect to see the higher snowfall totals. Be close to if they get a foot exactly, but we'll see. We'll have 8 to 12 inches in the forecast for there.
Cindy calls it a good old-fashioned Michigan winter.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we get 1 or 2 of these storms a year. And Groundhog's Day, I was mentioned this earlier.
Yes.
We have seen winter storms on Groundhog's Day specifically several times over the last several years here. And there's another one on February 2nd.
I believe they said something like 85% of the time he has seen his shadow, Punxsutawney Phil. And for those of you who missed it, he did see his shadow today. Our lovely rodent that predicts the weather.
See, you just told me that. I didn't. I didn't notice.
Yes, Punxsutawney Phil did see his shadow this morning, predicting 6 more weeks of winter. For those of you who go by a rodent's prediction on weather.
Well, and we live in Michigan,
Yes,
so
yeah.
it's always we're always going to see 6 more weeks of winter. It doesn't matter.
I lived in Pennsylvania, and it was
Yeah.
fine. Let's see. I'm sorry you were supposed to stand up in a wedding today,
Oh,
Susan.
no, Susan.
Hopefully, it's going to be a pretty winter. What? wedding. It could be a pretty winter wedding. It's looking gorgeous out there right now.
My parents say that they got married in a snowstorm. Their anniversary's in February, and they got married in a snowstorm, and they've been together for 20. Ooh,
get it right.
hang on. I think this is 28 years. Okay. This is February.
Let's hope it's right.
I'll get a text message or a phone call if it's all right. But yeah, maybe we can show up the Snowfall Total map one more time, just so that people can see. It hasn't changed too much. I did broaden things out a little bit more, 6 to 10 inches for that Lansing area. That's what we've been calling for initially. And then Jackson seeing the higher snowfall totals once you get further to the south towards the state line. If you really just continue drawing those lines further north and east, that's what you can expect towards Flint, Port Huron, Detroit, things like that. But again, we're focusing really what's happening here in the mid-Michigan area. But roads are slippery, snow-covered. It's tough to travel out there. Road crews will do their best to keep up here, but the snow is just going to keep coming all day long. So that's why travel, if you can stay home today, I would certainly recommend. And I really don't see things improving at all as we go towards the evening drive. In fact, they'll probably be a little bit worse. So just, if you can stay home, that's my best advice. And just take it easy on the roads, go slow, and don't go speeding past everyone like some people I saw this morning.
Yeah, you were out there on 127 this morning, correct?
That was right. That was between, we left Jackson at around 6 a.m., so it was right as the snow was really coming down, and we saw 3 cars in the ditch. So just make sure that you go slow, and that's the best thing that you can do in these conditions. Yes. Allow plenty of stopping distance between you and the car in front of you.
And if you have any questions, of course, you can always ask us. We do want to remind you, of course, to make sure that your walkways are safe for delivery drivers, postal delivery drivers. Also, in case there is an emergency, make sure that there's access to any fire hydrants around your area so that firefighters can get there. And if your kids are home from school, because there are many school closings, all of which you can find on WILX.com, make sure they get their snowball fights good and early while the snow is still nice.
Are you saying you want to challenge me out in the parking lot?
I got to be with Maureen at 10, but I got a good half hour that we can. Yeah. I brought my snow boots today. I'm not wearing them right now.
We'll record it.
We'll do a Facebook Live on that later. I'm pretty lethal, so we'll see. And just because you have four-wheel drive, also be careful. Four-wheel drive does not mean that you are unstoppable on ice. Even though you said there was a low possibility of ice earlier, it's more blowing snow and everything like that. Yeah, the
thing that we saw initially, especially out on the roads, was because we saw that rain last night, and now we're seeing the colder air, that moisture likely froze, and now snow's falling on top of it, so there will be a little thin layer of ice. Hopefully, as the day progresses, as the snow comes down and salt and stuff like that gets working at it, it should be okay, but that's what we saw initially, and that's why roads were especially slippery early on as the snow was first starting.
Can you show us the temperature map one more time? Because I know when I left for work this morning, I leave around 5 a.m. It was still pretty warm. And I was surprised we didn't have a lot of snow where I live in West Lansing.
No, and it didn't start snowing until early this morning. Temperatures were still in the 40s after midnight, and they've been falling ever since. We're now down into the 20s and 30s, and these numbers are going to continue to fall as we go throughout the day today. So that's why I said the snow will become a little bit drier and not as wet and heavy as it is right now as these temperatures continue to fall. And then by tomorrow, we're only going to see highs near 20 on Thursday. So that cold air continues to be in place. But yeah, yesterday's high officially in Lansing was 50 degrees. So
who would have thought?
A little different out there today. Yeah. But I do want to point out, too, that if you do miss this Facebook Live, we are going to be providing you updates all day long. We'll be back for News 10 at 11.
Yep, that's our next one.
Next newscast, I'm trying to think. And then we'll be back
You're here early.
Yeah, so
I'm used to this.
Studio 10, then obviously through the 5, 5:30, and 6. Andy will be in later today. So we have plenty of ways. We have updates on our website. We'll put updates into our First Alert Weather app. If you don't have that on your phone, make sure you download that. Just search for the News 10 First Alert Weather app in your App Store or Google Play whatever
Apple,
phone you have.
It's free.
Yeah, and it's free, and we post updates in there. Darren just posted an update not that long ago in that. So there's plenty of ways that we can continue to keep you updated. Stay with us here on social media as well, and we'll have updates there too.
All right, well, thank you so much. We will hear from you again shortly.
Yes.
Sure. Everybody stay safe out there, and we will talk to you later. Thanks so much.